So Qtenza, your pain patch, it's already approved in Europe and it has a date with the FDA coming up November 16th. It uses a synthetic form of the active ingredient in chili peppers, but how does it work?
So the active ingredient in chili peppers is called capsaicin. And basically what capsaicin does is it goes through the skin and it binds itself to these nerve fibers and basically turns off the signal that patients experience as a burning, stinging irritation for neuropathic pain.
Interesting. And what's the initial indication here?
So about a million patients a year in the U.S. experience a case of shingles. About 20% of those patients will actually go on to have prolonged pain due to nerve damage that the shingles actually caused, and that pain is called postherpetic neuralgia. And that's the indication, the initial indication that we will pursue, that we're pursuing right now with the FDA.
And certainly, I mean, all good drug companies are also looking ahead with the same drugs. What are some of the future indications that you might be pursuing?
Well, we've studied the drug in a variety of conditions. We actually, there are publications out there that show that the drug does work in patients with HIV-associated neuropathy. We have some preliminary data that suggests it works in painful diabetic neuropathy, but the label indication, what it will be approved for in the United States, if and when it's approved, it will be for postherpetic neuralgia.
Great. And so how is this really different than a painkiller I can get today?
The gold standard, if you will, of drugs that are used to treat neuropathic pain are what academics call accidental analgesics. So, for instance, anticonvulsants are used, antidepressants are used, narcotics are used. In all those cases, those drugs work in the bloodstream. Our product is a patch that a physician applies directly to the place where it hurts, and it puts the pain out at the source, so you don't worry about systemic side effects because it's not working in the bloodstream. Because it's not working in the bloodstream, you don't worry about how this drug will interact with other drugs that the patients are taking. So it's actually quite unique.
Great. But there's a local anesthetic that needs to be applied first to, I guess, alleviate the pain of the capsaicin.
Well, the concentration of capsaicin that we're using is quite high, 8%. And capsaicin does sting. If you're working with jalapenos and you touch them with your hands and then put your finger in your eye, you know what that experience can be. This is a very high concentration. So what we do to make the procedure tolerable to the patient is we apply a topical anesthetic beforehand. After the patient is nice and numb, we take the topical anesthetic off, apply the patch directly to where the patient experiences pain, and that's the procedure.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've had some recent hires, a VP of Sales, a Director of Marketing, a Director of Commercial Operations. You have some empty desks out there. I see you're anticipating filling some positions here in San Mateo. How many folks are you employing now? Is there a plan pending approval to hire more?
Well, right now we have somewhere between 45 and 50 people, given consultants that are working on us for a temporary basis that may convert into full-time hires. We probably will be expanding our operation in San Mateo to some extent. One of the places where we will definitely be expanding is nationwide as we develop our sales force. We do plan to field a commercial team once the product is approved. Our initial plans is to probably put maybe 25 or 30 people out there initially, and expand that up to perhaps as much as 100 over time.
Wow. And pending approval again, what is the timeline for getting this onto the market?
Right now, as we sit here today, we know that we can get the drug on the market in the first half of 2010. Once we actually get the approval and we get our plans tied together, we plan to try and be a little bit more specific.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.